Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Fryar place. We are back live here at the Code, 939 North Delaware Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is the place where the conversations are fire. We got a great guest for you tonight. It's going to be off the chain. He's all lathered up, ready to go. Welcome, everybody. Listen, if you have any comments, you have any questions for me or for our guest tonight as we're going through the show, please don't forget to write a Q. Put a Q in there, semicolon. That way, my engineer's eyes will go to that question, and we will address that question. Listen, we're going to get right into the show. I know we came on a little bit late because my guest
He was late.
He has no sense of time. He's just disrespectful. I'm still his elder, but I don't get it. I don't understand these young cats. They don't get it. That's him right there, y'all. Hugh Douglas, my man. Let me read some of the stats for him. Yup. We're here at the Code. We got live guests, so you'll hear our guests sometimes screaming, sometimes making noise. We don't try to temper them. We try to keep them a little bit under control, but they can do what they want to do as long as they don't run in front of the camera. But listen, this guy here is special. He really is. He's a former teammate of mine. 10 seasons in the NFL, 10, right?
Yes.
10 seasons in the NFL, 352 tackles, 80 sacks. He's just a man out of control.
352?
Yeah. 352 tackles.
I didn't know I had 53 tackles.
Yeah.
352
tackles, 80 sacks, 1 interception, and you have 1 TD. I surely would have loved to have seen you running the ball into the end zone. First round draft pick, 1995 with the Jets. 16th pick in the NFL. We got the combine going down, NFL draft coming up. Big time. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. Drafted by the Jets, came to the Eagles by way of trade in 1998. My teammate that year. We sucked that year, by the way, but it wasn't Hugh's fault. Went to the Jaguars, then came back to the Eagles. Spent 6 years with the Eagles. NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1995. 3-time Pro. I'm reading all of this. Are you impressed? 3-time Pro Bowlers.
Right.
Eagles Hall of Famer right here, y'all. Eagles 4th on the Eagles all-time sack list with 54.5 sacks. Did that in just 6 seasons. Out of Central State in Ohio.
Yes.
None other than Hugh Douglas, y'all. Come on, put your hands together.
How everybody doing? What's going on?
He's in the house. He is the current, what is it, noonday, called Noonday Show?
Midday?
It's Noonday, midday show with WIP, and he is worth listening to. I listen to him probably at least every other day. I send him text messages. Sometimes he responds, sometimes he doesn't. I guess what my text messages say aren't relevant to what's going on with the show, but at least I try to give him a little input from the old wily veteran. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Nothing much, Rev. I'm just hanging in there, man. Just being back in Philadelphia, enjoying that. Still trying to find me a place to stay. So, that's about it. Just hanging in there.
Why don't you have a place to stay, man?
Because I got comfortable. I'm living in one of these hotels around here. Got
you
a
living
little
in a
kitchen.
hotel?
Well, it's a kitchen. I got it's like an apartment. It's like a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
We got a wall full of shoes. I ain't got nowhere to stay. Got some sweatshirts. And I'm just doing the best that I can right now. I'm just doing the best I can.
Why'd you come back to Philly? What brought you back? You were in Atlanta, which is supposed to be the place where black folk can
no sand,
thrive.
no beaches.
And, no
just
sand,
Georgia
no
beaches.
There's no sand, no beaches here.
Just Georgia peaches.
Oh, Georgia.
Hollis caught that. My dog back there. That's my dog.
But you didn't bring a peach with you.
No, I didn't. I did not. I'm out here solo. But
good
no,
to see.
I have a little boy here, a little 5-year-old boy. So that's what really brought me back to Philadelphia.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, it still works. Everything still. It just in case.
Wait a minute.
Everything
How old are you?
52.
You 52.
Got a 5-year-old.
You got a 5-year-old.
Yeah, do the math.
Yeah, do the math.
Yeah.
Was that on purpose?
No, it wasn't. Oh, of course it wasn't. It wasn't on purpose. But I'm glad he's here. He's been a joy. Gets on my nerves. Lil Harper.
Lil Harper.
Yeah, but he's came back up here for him, man, because you know how it is with all kids in general. You got to be there for the kids, man.
No, I don't know how it is. I wasn't 50 years old and had a 5-year-old.
But
I don't know how that is.
It's a little
that part a little different.
I'm talking about the parenting part.
I know how you make them and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know about 50
The part
and 5.
about making them, that ain't changed.
That ain't changed?
Same thing.
You sure?
Same way.
Listen, you have a nickname that I'm doing a little research on you, trying to make sure I have enough content for tonight. Turbo Bird.
That is not my nickname, Rev.
That's not your nickname?
You know, that was some white dude.
Well, listen. You need to get that straight then.
No,
where did that come from?
Where my camera at?
Turbo Bird. Just right there, one
whenever
camera.
I find that white dude that named me that, hey, I ain't into threatening nobody no more, but I'm looking for you because that's not my nickname, dog. That was some stuff that some dudes did on the Wikipedia. The Wikipedia? Yeah. Hey, dog. I ain't say, hey, listen.
So you need to call Wikipedia and get them to take that off because it's in bold letters up there.
Yeah, somebody being funny.
Turbo Bird.
Hey, listen, don't play with me.
What's a Turbo Bird?
I don't know.
The middle name is Lamont.
Well, you be quiet, Hollis.
That's Hollis Thomas in the background,
be quiet.
y'all.
Yeah, that's my dog back there, though.
Your middle name is Lamont?
Yes.
Wow.
Now it's getting hot in here. Now I'm getting a little nervous.
Wow. Sorry. So should I call you L from now on?
You can call me Rev. You can call me whatever you want to call me.
No, I can't call you whatever
yes,
I
you
want to
can.
call you.
No, you know what's funny? Let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
Let me tell y'all a story about Rev.
Give him the camera.
Like for real. Like all jokes aside, one of the hardest working individuals that I ever been around. I remember, Rev, you was about what? Like it seems like a long time. You was about getting ready to retire. You were thinking about retiring.
I was thinking about it, yeah.
But you were still playing at a high level, and I just remember, I remember one morning you was working out or something, because London, your son, was a ball boy. And I remember watching you work out, and I'm like, damn. And Red, you was like, what, 33 at the time?
No, I was 36, 37.
That's what it was, because I was like, damn, you know what? When I get that age, that's what I want to look like. Then that's the reason why I take my ass to the gym every day. Like, for real, because you was still out there. Like, I remember, like, Troy and Bobby, we used to be at practice, and y'all used to go at it. And used to give them that work.
Got to give it to them.
You used to give them that work, and I was like, man, when I get 36 years old, that's what I want to look like.
Well, you know what I used to do, and this show is not about me, it's about Hugh. We're going to talk about Hugh, but what I used to do during the off season, I figured out that, going into the season, you go to training camp, then going into the season, you want to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You want to have a good training camp. So guess what? In training camp, I work against Troy, I work against Bobby, every training camp. So I got to know how to figure out how to beat them on a consistent basis because they see me all the time, every day.
Yeah.
So I can't bring the same stuff every time. I got to come up with new stuff when I'm working against them. So I train to beat them during the off season, to come to camp and to beat the number 1, number 2 defensive back in training camp, and that way when the season rolled around, it was easy.
Yeah, and I just remember that, and I was like, man, cause boy, you came into camp ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I kind of modeled. Most of the players I kind of modeled my game after were defensive players, but when I saw you, I was like, yeah, that's kind of where I want to be.
And we didn't like training camp.
No, it was different.
I've heard some of the players today talk about how they look forward to training camp and they like training camp.
Country club.
Is it country club?
It's a country club now.
Do you think that's a part of the reason for the Eagles' demise at the end of the season? I mean, we're going to get to that, but I mean, since we're there,
you know what, Rev?
You're one of the experts in that area.
It's hard to say because one of the narratives this year with the Eagles was
don't knock over the table, y'all. Hugh
I'm sorry.
They call him Hugh Douglas.
but one of the narratives this year was that they were tired. So, I did a little bit of research, and the Baltimore Ravens, probably not man for man, but as many snaps as the defense played, they were probably on par with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, what's the biggest difference between us and the Ravens? Ravens are in the playoffs and went deep into the playoffs.
And winning, playing at a high level.
And we're playing at a high level. So, I don't know if I believe that to be true, because we had some tough training camps. And you think about back in the day, and I hate to always say it like back in the day we played, but we had pads on every day. We had pads on every day, and I remember going to practice and practicing and then doing something extra after practice to get ready for the week. So when you start talking about being tired at this level, it just makes no sense to me.
And then when you look at, I think Hollis wants to ask a question, but when you look at what happened in the season and who won the Super Bowl, meaning the Kansas City Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl last year. So they played more games than anybody in the league.
Yeah.
And they remove any excuse for the Eagles getting tired at the end of the season. Anybody should have been tired. It should have been the Chiefs.
Yeah,
because they played more games than anybody.
And it's that, I think a part of that is maybe they use the excuse as tired because they weren't buying into what the coach was selling. Or is this one thing I like to call, a friend of mine used to call it that want to. You know, it's called want to.
Want to.
You know what I mean? You
That's
just
country.
I want to.
You're not country.
A
You're
little
from
bit.
Ohio.
Yeah, but you know, Ohio is considered country. You got a lot of Amish.
ain't country
We got a lot of
over there.
Amish in Ohio. We got some Amish. We got a lot of Amish.
Hollis, you got a question?
Yeah, it was a quick comment on the Baltimore Ravens that got sanctioned by the NFL for practicing too hard.
Oh, the Baltimore Ravens. In case
So the part about them being tired is what you said at the end. That and we talked about this. The part about them not believing in what they was doing, the hesitation part. You saw us running into each other. You saw the blitzes, guys like standing there, like, I don't know if I want to go in there.
Right.
And it started being what you call business moves.
Yeah, business
So the
decisions.
Ravens, Hollis is saying, in case you couldn't hear it, people who are watching, all of our audience who are watching virtually, they could hear it in the room. But Hollis was saying the Ravens actually were sanctioned for practicing too hard, which is unbelievable to me that you can get sanctioned. You can get sanctioned for practicing too hard.
They had a minicap taken away because you're not supposed, like now, you remember the minicaps we used to have one-on-one pass?
I think Hollis trying to take over the show.
Well, no, I'm
He
just
can. Get that man a chair. He's trying to be
I
on the
think
show.
Hollis trying to take over the show, man. We got our own show, Hollis.
But you're not supposed to do anything competitive in those minicaps now. That's part of, like, if you read the new collective bargaining
Well,
agreement,
it seemed like they weren't doing anything competitive on the field in the game. Now, listen, was football something that you wanted to do? Was that like, when I grew up, I wasn't a sports fan. I didn't want to play football. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to go to the pros. Was that something you wanted to do?
When I think about my path to the NFL, it was something that somebody always told me that I had the potential to go to the NFL. I just never believed it. You know, because like I looked at it like I started playing football kind of late. Like I played when I was small, played flag football and things like that, and then I didn't play until my junior year in high school. So it was like I was still trying to learn the game. So I would have people say, "Hey man, if you can go to college. Hey, you got enough skill, you can go to the pros." I didn't see it, but other people saw that.
You in college, you had 42 sacks in 32 games. What do you mean you didn't know didn't have the skill? You averaged more than one sack a game.
But you know what it was, Rep? I just like crushing the quarterback. I know it might sound weird, but I really just enjoyed like this being disruptive and whooping a bigger man's ass because I was not considered one of the.
Nobody bigger than you.
But no, like I was not considered one of the bigger defensive
you weren't.
linemen.
Yeah, you weren't. Right.
So I took great joy in beating the hell out of a dude that was bigger than me. And I used to like that one-on-one thing that was going on, and the fact that they were saying you're not big enough to do this and not big strong enough to do that. Like my thing was, I used to like to wear big dudes down and talk about mother, stuff like that, stuff that I probably can't say on this show.
You can say it if you want.
Yeah, motherfucker, what? I had that kind of an attitude. I had the little man complex, even though I ain't no little man.
But you know what? They've taken that element of the game out, the ability to intimidate your opponent.
Impose your will. That's what we used to call it. Imposing your will.
I like to say intimidate.
Yeah, that works too.
Intimidate because of the new rules. And that's why, in my opinion, you can't compare a quarterback like, say, Patrick Mahomes with a quarterback like Joe Theismann.
Yeah,
or
it was different.
Or Ron Jaworski.
Yeah,
because Patrick Mahomes has never been dumped on his head like those quarterbacks used to get dumped on their head, because that changes your thought process. That changes your mentality when you're standing back in the pocket thinking la-di-da, I got time to throw the ball, and if somebody even grazes my face mask, it's going to be a penalty.
I remember, like, speaking of you, and I know this is not about you, but I remember back in one-on-ones where you used to could press.
Right.
And you used to have to get off the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Like, one of the things I remember about Troy, Bobby, and you.
I wanted them to press me.
Yes, because
if
you
I
were
get my hands on them.
That's what I was about to say.
I want to get my hands on them.
Because, Rev, you were one of the strongest, one of the most physical receivers that played.
Right.
And so the funny thing was, and this is why I remember it, because you used to give Bobby and Troy the business. Because Troy was kind of big, but he didn't move like Bobby could move more fluid, but Bobby was smaller. So you used to give them both the business. You used to like muscle Bobby and kind of like outmaneuver Troy. Don't tell him I told y'all that, but it was the truth, because I used to watch the one-on-ones. But boy, when you watch them playing the games, it was easy for them to go against the corners the receivers that they went against because they went against you today and vice versa. So that's one of the things I remember about the game that I used to play in. But it's not like that anymore. You know, you got that 5-yard cushion where you can't put your hands on anybody and then let them go and things like that. But I remember y'all cats used to be fighting all the way down the field.
I was always of the mindset, you know, there's a 5-yard chuck rule. Guess what? In those 5 yards, you can hit me, but I can hit you too.
Yeah.
So we'll see who's still standing after I get finished hitting on you.
Yeah.
So that was. You hear Hugh talk, right? And we're gonna. Okay, let's go to commercial first, y'all. We got to. It's getting too good. Let's go to commercial first. We got to pay the bills.
Can we talk?
Commercial.
Can we?
Tell them about the.
Commercial.
Are you planning a special trip or a night out? Don't bother with the hassle of driving, parking, and traffic. Just call Ed Smooth Transport. One-way or round trips available. We will take you there, and we will also pick you up. Enjoy a night on the town with Ed Smooth Transport. Call us 609-471-2653 or 609-314-6619. Visit our website to take advantage of our monthly specials at www.smooftransport.com. Ed Smooth Transport, where experience meets comfort.
Because this is somewhat greatness, and this is what we do.
Okay, I didn't see myself on the screen. I want to ask you a question because I'm still scratching my head about this. I'm not sure why it happened or how it happened. I just know it happened. When you retired, the Eagles hired you as a goodwill ambassador. What was that all about? How did you fit in that title, in that scenario? What was your job and what exactly did you do?
I didn't do a damn thing.
I didn't think so. I didn't
do a damn thing.
What, they just made up a job? They made a title for you, made up a job?
You know what? Thinking back on that time, I think they did it because of the sacrifice that I made. I got hurt like the first game of the season.
Okay,
like
you ain't the only one to sacrifice. They didn't offer me no job.
No, but I'm just saying, they gave you a motorcycle. What you talking about?
That's okay. They didn't give me no job. I gave a motorcycle back too.
Hey, and you rode it around.
Yo, stop hating. Stop hating. We ain't talking about
that. Was a nice bike. That was a nice bike. But I think it was because of the fact that I got hurt early on, came back to the city, and I decided to play without getting the surgery. Because if I'd have got the surgery, I probably could have stolen another year.
My whole doggone last year with the Eagles, I played with a broken big toe every game.
But that's you the Rev though. That's what you know what I mean? Shoot. You was anointed and highly favored.
Yeah, so what did you do? Did you go around and speak to schools? Did you go around representing the team?
A little bit of that.
Yeah.
It was some things that I did for the team that were basically that. And the fact that, coming, like I said, I do think it was because of the way that everything happened coming back from Jacksonville and being hurt during the course of the season and still playing. I think partly that's what it was. Because to be honest, they haven't did anything like that ever since.
No. I know. That's why I'm asking.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Did you do such a good job that they just
no, you know what?
They did away with that position?
They was like, you know what, this motherfucker right here, man. We can't do this shit with his ass. I forgot. We allowed to cuss, right?
You all right?
Like
yeah,
this motherfucker right here, man. We can't do this shit with his ass no more. He don't know how to act. That's what it was.
Just
abuse his privileges. Can't have nothing nice, black folk.
So how did you become a Sigma?
How did I become a Sigma?
Yeah. How did that transpire? I'm kind of disappointed in you. Really.
No, let me tell you. Can I just tell you something?
You can tell me. I'm sure there's a story.
All of my family members, female family members, are Deltas.
Okay, you should have been an Omega then.
So wait a minute, they were disappointed.
We got a Delta in the house.
No, I see the Deltas.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the
we got Delta in the house.
TTBOD. They know what that means. I know Deltas. But anyway, like I was saying, no, the reason. You know what it was? Because I remember, like Big E, Eric Williams. When I went to Central State, Eric Williams was my nightmare.
Okay.
And he was the offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys. Used to get Reggie White fits. And you know what I remember about Big E as a Sigma? He when I went to practice, like I was killing everybody at Central State at practice. Was just giving them that work. And I remember everybody was like, yeah, you know what? It's gonna be different when Premier get here, because that was his nickname in college.
Okay.
They used to call him Premier.
Right.
And I'm like, who the hell is Premier? I'm like, who is Premier? So the first day of the vets being in training camp. So Big E comes to training camp. He hasn't said a word all day. I don't even know who he is. So we're sitting there getting ready to do one-on-ones, right? So there's like, yeah, Premier about to come up. And I was like, Premier? So I see this dude, he had this black visor on. He had this big ass Sigma tack on his arm. Like Rev, he ain't said nothing the whole day. So now I've been giving everybody work since I've been at training camp. So I'm getting up there and they say we doing one-on-one. So they say ready, set, hut. So I do my little wiggle. My little wiggle, whatever. Like I'm about to get him. And he grabbed me both hands. He said, He said, my name is Big E and I'm Premier. And he's like, and he headbutted me like 1,000 times.
Wow.
And like this is the thing. Like my arms, I have him like this, right? And I've been working out, and I think I got a nice little side, but he collapsed in my arms and just headbutting the shit out of me. And I'm like on a roller coaster ride, and I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker is trying to kill me. And he just headbutted me, and then he threw me on the ground, and then he just DDT'd me.
Wow.
And I was like, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, ever since then, that's all I remember was that Sigma
So you wanted to be a Sigma because of that? For real?
You know what though, Real?
What kind of warp thinking is that?
Because he kind of owned me, like my freshman year. He kind of owned me. And I remember thinking, and I remember my Coach Lemon was like, Big E punking you. He was like, he took your manhood. Wow. He was like, and I remember thinking to myself, he did. But it ain't shit I can do about it. Hey, Rev, it ain't shit I can do about it. But you know what? Another motherfucker ain't gonna do that to me. So I started working out and everything. And it just was one of those natural things, because then the bros started coming at you, asking you about, being a Sigma. And I'm like, oh no, man. You know what I mean? And plus,
did he come back and headbutt you? You better be a Sigma.
No, he didn't. But you know what's funny? Because even to this day, you know how deference. And when I'm around Big E, I still get real quiet.
Memories.
And he's a pastor now.
No.
He's a pastor.
He's the wrecking Rev.
Yes, and it's crazy because even to this day, when Big E come around, man, I remember we went to a golf tournament and some of the young bros was with us, and they're paying deference. They go get him some chicken or whatever, and I'm looking like, damn. They still go get this man his chicken to this day, and his drinks to this day. Like, that's respect. When you talk about respect, and he ain't the guy that he used to be. Right. But you talk about that respect.
But you said that memory, yeah. You said that memory, boy. He may not be the outwardly the guy that he used to be, but guess what? Inwardly, that guy's still there.
But then, and on top of that, he also made me who I am. Because after that experience, I was like, I wish a motherfucker would try me like that. You know what I mean? Hey, you didn't tell me we can cuss. Nah, it's always popping.
Yeah, rough career.
No, I'm just saying, I wish a motherfucker would try me like that.
So, listen, everybody, as you can see, as you can hear, Hugh is openly honest, as I said earlier. He's an openly honest man. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, because when you retired, You've been doing this on-the-air reporting thing for a while. You were with WTXF TV and then WIP here.
Yes.
Then 2011, you went co-hosted this rugby show. I don't know.
Yeah, I did the
what you
Five
were
Nations
thinking.
rugby. Yeah, I was
What was that?
just trying to get
You don't
my.
know nothing about rugby.
Not a damn thing. Rugby hard though, Rev. Rugby, much respect. Shout out to all the rugby players. It ain't no joke.
Yeah?
Because you constantly running, Rev, and you ain't got no pads on. So when somebody hits you, you feel all that. You feel all that in your soul.
In your soul.
In your soul. You feel all that,
After
Rev.
that, ESPN, the Sports Center, NFL Live, First Take, ESPN News, 2012, Jalen Rose, ESPN2's number, was it Numbers Never Lie?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
And then you've been known for being honest. Then you got fired.
Got fired big time.
He got all that work, and he got fired for calling somebody Uncle Tom.
See, now, Rev. now, this is the one thing.
I want to know what happened with that. The people want to know what happened with that.
I did not call him Uncle Tom.
Then why did they fire you?
I told him I'd beat his ass. I told him I would beat his ass if he talked to me like he talked to me again. I never called.
So
like,
what did he
that's
say?
not even the way I
It
talk.
was Michael Smith?
Michael Smith.
Yeah, what did he say?
So we're at this party, right? So everybody's drinking or whatever.
Oh, so it didn't even happen on set.
No, this was all. I got fired on my off day, like Craig. I got fired on my off
Who
day.
gets fired on their off day?
You.
You off work. And
I was off work. So we're at.
You special, man.
We're at the NABJ, right? National Association for Black Journalists. So we're there having a ball or whatever. So Mike is on stage, him and Jamil, and I remember I tried to get on stage. The young lady wouldn't let me on stage, so I was like, oh, that's fine, no problem. So Mike gets off stage, and I was like, yo, Mike, what's up? And he turns around, he puts his finger in my face. He, don't you ever fucking do that again. So I'm sitting there, right? And I'm like, okay, Hugh, pause. So I said, yo, Mike, what's wrong? And he just walked away. So he's walking away. So I grabbed his arm, I didn't yell, and I just whispered in his ear. I said, listen, dog, don't let this TV shit get your ass whooped. I said, because I will beat your ass in front of all these people while you trying to disrespect me. So he was like, I'm gonna get you fired, watch. I'm gonna get you fired. So I was like, oh, he'll be all right. So I'm thinking.
He got you fired?
No, I'm thinking we in the locker room. You know, we have a blow up.
Right.
And
It's done.
that's the end of it,
Right.
whatever. So I called him, I said, you know, so then my boss at the time, Galen, rose up on me, said, hey man, you know, Mike's pretty upset. I said, oh, he'll be all right. I said, I'll give him a call in the morning, he'll be all right. So I called, and I'm like, yo, man, let's pick up the phone, let's handle this like some men, let's squash it. He didn't pick up the phone. So, you know, I go back to my room and I go to sleep. So I wake up in the morning, so I go to breakfast. So you know how when you go to breakfast, and when you walk, say if I walk in the room and everybody get quiet, because I know everybody been talking about me. So I knew they were talking about me. So I'm like, oh shit. So I'm like, he's still mad. So I said, let me leave. I said, because if I see him and he say something, I'm gonna split his wig. So I said, let me just go ahead and leave. So I caught a flight out. I caught an early flight out because I was supposed to still be there for another day. So my agent called me and said, man, what you do? I said, what you mean? He said, Mike's really upset. It's like, what? What you mean? He's like, he said you threatened him. And I said, yeah, I did. I said, I did threaten him. So the initial story came out that I was drunk, which that wasn't true because everybody was drunk.
Right.
Everybody was drinking.
Right.
So I remember, like, and this is why to this day I got love for Stephen A. and can't nobody say anything negative about Stephen A. to me is because Stephen A. called me and he said, yo, bro, he said, they're out to get you. He said they're out to get you. You need to call whoever you need to call because they are trying to get you.
Wow.
He said, I don't know what you did, but they're trying to get you. He said, Jamil and Mike got it in for you.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So I called some people that I knew that saw me there, and they had to vouch for me. So the initial story was that I was drunk. And they was like, well, he wasn't any more drunk than anybody else, you know, like it was a party. So then it came out that I called him Uncle Tom. And I remember telling the HR person, I was like, that's not even how I talk. I said, I ain't gonna call nobody Uncle Tom. Nah, I did say I beat his ass. You know, I mean, I admitted to that.
Right.
But then it came out, Rev, like, then it became me being the angry black man. You know, like, oh, you're a big guy. You know, you're very intimidating and all this other stuff. Like, that's what they were saying.
Right.
So it was like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I was embarrassed because it was like, wow. You know, they are like two black folks that look like me.
At a black event?
Yeah. like really went in, like they went in, they went in. And to this day, I saw Jamil one time. I didn't say nothing to her. She was with her husband. And you know what was funny about that, right? Because I guess he knew, but he kind of, you know how your husband, like, I ain't say nothing to her. I was nice because I'm not going to win that.
Right.
So he sit back there with his little, and I'm like, dog.
Filled up with air.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I'm trying to be, even though I'm 52, I still think I can throw them hands. And if I can't, I am damn sure willing to find out. Like, I'm just letting you know, I'm willing to see if I can still throw them.
Right.
So he looking at me and I'm like, why Claude got all this air in his chest? But I let it go. But after that, it was just like the biggest thing for me in that situation, I was just like, wow, every brother ain't a brother,
That's true.
You know what I mean? Every brother ain't a brother.
Yeah.
So that was a learning experience. So now, like, I just move a little different.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you.
Well,
see, I would definitely call it your black ass.
But wait a minute, because I got something else I want to ask you about.
What's that? Oh man.
You after that.
Yeah.
After that.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, you know where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
After that. And I'm I'm on solid ground, ass, because everybody can see you can get out of control.
No, can I say?
So after that, there was an incident with you and T.O. Tell us about that.
With T.O. The T.O. incident was something.
Was it a fight? Was it actual?
It was not a fight. It was not a fight. We had we squared up. Nobody touched anybody. Trot ended up breaking it up. And so it was one of those things where, you know how the story gets blown out of proportion? And no matter how many times you tell the story,
it gets bigger.
It gets bigger than what it really was.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. Me and T.O., we're cool to this day. But it was just one of those things that I'm pretty sure that when he hears the story, he beat me up. And vice versa.
Oh, well, okay.
You know what I mean?
It's
one of those.
I was going to say, come on,
things.
Hugh.
Yeah, it's one of those things where But it was a misunderstanding, really, because I was working on the radio, and he thought I said something negative about him. He thought that I said.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Because nobody listens. Like, it's funny. I've been doing radio for like damn near 20 years. And no matter how clear and concise that I think that I'm being, people always hear what they want to hear.
Right.
I mean, and that's how it all, and you can't worry about that.
But that's their problem.
Yeah,
because
it's not mine.
That's based on the window that they're looking through at themselves.
That's true.
So
that's true.
When they hear whatever it is you're saying about them, they'll take it in a negative way because they don't see themselves the way they ought to see themselves.
That's true. And you know what's funny? Like being on the other side of it now, because we all do it. We'll see a story that we want to talk about, and you'll see the sizzle. And a lot of times we'll just read the sizzle.
Right.
And we don't get the intricacies of the story. So what I try to do now, before I talk about anything, I try to make sure I have a basic understanding of what's going on. And I never try to paint myself into a corner where I'm like what I say is absolute or it's the end all to be all.
Right.
Because it might be some more information that comes out after the fact. Because I think that's important, especially when we're talking about athletes, because they're human. And I know that for the last couple years, people have been complaining about athletes are soft, which I do honestly believe that some of them are.
Emotionally and psychologically, mentally.
Yes. I do believe that they are.
Yeah.
But we live in a different time now.
Right.
So we gotta kind of adjust to that.
Social media has a lot to do with it.
Yes, it does. Because now people have access to us that they didn't have when we played. So it's one of those things where you have to be fair as much as you possibly can to the individuals that you're critiquing.
But you also speak from experience.
Yes.
It's not like you've just been on one side of the coin. You've been on both sides. You've been the athlete, and now you're the sports reporter.
Yeah, but the difference is that I think the difference with us is this, is because we came from an era where hard coaching was a thing.
That's all there was. There was no soft coaching.
It was the end all to be all. Now, what I hear about coaching now, which blows my mind, is like coaches are your friend. You know what I mean? And it's like, in order to survive in this game, you got to have those relationships. Because I can't tell you how many times I've heard players get coaches fired. Like you remember back when we played Rev, like if they didn't give a damn. If you and the coach didn't get along, they got your ass up out of there.
That's right.
They got you out. They didn't care how good you were.
Yep.
It's not like that anymore. It's going towards the way of the NBA. You know how when you hear the NBA, like say I'm just using him as an example because I like to do it. I think he's a baller. But LeBron, like they talk about how LeBron can get a coach fired in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Heartbeat.
Well, Michael probably could have gotten. Michael Jordan probably could have done the same thing. But he would not have done that because it was a different era.
That's the way the game is going now.
Yeah.
And you have to be these guys' friends. Because for the life of me, when I sit back, man, it's just talking about the Eagles and the consistent mistakes that they made defensively, week in and week out. And you got Hollis right there telling me, I knew, as much as I knew about the defense, what the hell I was supposed to do. Like that's it. And if I didn't know it, I would ask him to make sure. I'm watching them play, and I'm looking, and I'm like, that ain't right.
That's not.
You know what I mean? Like they got me
He's
watching
going the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm like,
I mean, I noticed that.
Now, it's loosely. The defenses are loosely based off one another. So I'm looking at coverages and stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute. I do remember he's supposed to be carrying that tight end up the seam. Like I remember, I'm sitting back there, Hollis, and I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. Like there's a certain area that he's supposed to be in that he's not in, and I'm like, they do this week in and week out, and I'm like, how do you sit in the meeting? Because I remember being in a meeting. And if
you
I
did something like that in a meeting,
it was like, Douglas, what the hell are you doing? Like, what you doing? You gonna mess around? Your ass gonna be on the bench?
That's right.
You know what I mean? But these guys were able to go out there week in and week out and make the same mistakes, and nobody said
no consequences.
Nothing.
No
I
consequences.
can't believe you waited until you was in there commentating to start trying to learn defense.
Listen,
This big dog.
I want
Big dog are coming inside.
I want to shift. I want to shift now. I want to shift. We're going to totally shift because I never got a chance to talk to you about this. I kind of checked up on you back in September. Those of you that don't know, whether you're watching, whether you're in the room, back in September, Hugh lost his son. Had a son that was in a car accident. He and his roommate both died in the car accident. Morehouse, business, doing his thing.
Doing his thing.
In college, a lot of promise. How are you dealing with that? That's something to me. I mean, we see it happen, and it does happen. But to me, a parent should never have to bury their child.
True.
Parents should never. How are you dealing with that?
Every day is his own challenge, and the thing that I've had to deal with was the fact that everybody can't deal with what you're dealing with.
Right.
You know, so I've lost a lot of friends behind this because every day is an emotional roller coaster. You know, I don't know, some mornings I wake up and I feel fine. And then some days, like the other day, Rev, I'm watching the regular show. It's like a cartoon that my son used to watch, and I'm just bawling, crying. And it's one of those things where I think I'm still in disbelief. And I know a lot of people tell me that I need to probably go to counseling, and I will. But right now, like I just try to bear myself in work and just try to stay, you know, doing that and do everything that I possibly can to try to honor him on a daily basis, because that's tough. And I'm here to tell you, like, talking about him now, I mean, it's tough. And just to think about, like, the biggest thing for me is like what he could have been, because he was so.
Grieving, let me say this, grieving is normal and it's necessary. And everybody does it differently. So don't let anybody tell you how you should grieve or how long you should grieve. Or whether you should cry or whether you still grieving. No, everybody does it differently. It's normal, it's necessary, and you grieve because of love, because you cared about your son, because you love your son. If you didn't love him, if you didn't care about him, you wouldn't grieve over him. So this is something that you're going through. That's a normal thing. What I want you to do, though, if you can, put in the words. There are parents, other parents, who are dealing with the same thing. They lost a child, maybe a different way, but it's still the same hurt. It's still the same pain about their child, concerning their child. What would be your words for them, just out of your own experience?
You know, Rev, it's funny because Gilly. I know everybody. He's from Gilly the Kid.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was going through it, Gilly called me, like out of the blue. And he was just, because his son, I remember, and the thing that I remember about it is because if you remember the timeline, his son he was in a tragic murder, he was murdered. And I remember he had a Gilly Fest like the week right after. And I remember watching it and I was like, wow. And I remember watching him and I remember thinking like to myself, I'm like, damn, I can't believe he's up there. And I remember like looking at him and to a certain extent admiring his strength.
Right.
So my son passes and Gilly reaches out to me. And I remember I called him back and I just cried. And he was like, I understand. And he's like, I know, but you got to be strong. He said, you have to be strong for your son because that's what he wants you to do. And, you know, we periodically talk to each other. But that, like, I drew my strength from what I saw him do. Because I just couldn't believe it and just be who he is. You know, people tell me, like, since this has happened, how they draw strength from me. But I draw strength from him because I look at him and I know he's hurting. Because I'm like, this is something that never goes away. It never goes away. Now, I don't care what anybody says. It's a day-to-day thing, and you wake up some mornings, and you're just still like, man, I cannot believe it. So it never goes away. But I draw strength. I think I draw strength from him, and watching him do what he does. And you know, every now and then I'll say something to him, be like, yo, man, where you at? Because I see him doing, you know, whatever it is he's doing, and you just try to go through your day-to-day day, and just keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
They you know, people say time heals. And when they say that in a general sense, like time heals everything. Time does heal, but time doesn't heal everything.
No,
There's some things that just never go away. You just learn how to
deal
live
with
with
it.
and
Yeah.
learn how to deal with it while you're living.
Yeah.
So, again, brother, just however you need to deal with it, deal with it.
I do.
Do what you have to do to make it. Because it won't go away. Because that was your son. He was close to you, and we'll never know what it was going to be.
And the biggest thing is like it was like, you know, initially I wanted him to play football, but when I saw he was not going to go that path, it was a joy to see him become his own man. And I used to tell him all the time, I can't wait to see who you become. You know, and then when he passed, like even his friends to this day. Like I used to always get on Hugh about the fact that, you know, he used to come home when he was little, and he'd be like, Dad, this is my best friend in the whole world. And I used to be like, shut up. You ain't gonna have but one or two friends in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You only gonna have one or two, because that's how we grew up.
Right.
But man, when I tell you these kids, I talk to them quite a bit, and I'm just sitting back and I'm like, man, he proved me wrong. And I'm proud of him for that, because you know, it's the old way of thinking. He wasn't on that. So it was one of those things where I sit back and I think about him fondly, but I'm also hurt because I don't get to see the finished product. You know. So yeah.
Well, we're here, bro.
Oh, I know.
You know it.
Yeah.
You can call us anytime. All right, let's move to football. All right, because I don't want to see you cry no more.
Yeah. I mean, I had my moments though.
No, and it's good. I'll mess around and cry
Give
with
me a hug,
you.
man. My man.
A question from the audience and a question in the.
Okay, we got two questions. Well, one of the questions is one of the questions I was going to ask. Anyway, we're talking about football now. We're shifting again. All right, downshift, and we're going to the right. Got a couple new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Eagles.
Coach Goober.
Coach Goober.
I'll call him Coach Goober.
I'm talking about Kellen Moore. I'm talking
Coach Goober. Coach
Vic
Goober.
Fangio.
Vic Fangio.
Why do you call Kellen Moore?
Because he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Because he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Doesn't he have a goober face? He has like a little bit of a goober face.
Well, listen, I want to say something. I don't know if you know this. I introduced you to my wife back there. My wife is a Dallas Cowboys fan.
What happened?
I didn't find out till after I said I do, and I'm in, Doc. I can't, I did it for God. I swore for God. I got to hang in there. I swore for God.
You gotta hang in there now, bro. You gotta hang in there now.
Yeah, she only will. No, I'm gonna tell you a story about her. So we know a guy that's into memorabilia. So he was doing this show, and he was involving some of the Dallas Cowboys. and Dak Prescott was supposed to do some autographs for him. This is about 5-6 years ago, or early in Dak's career. So my wife asked him, "Would you get me a jersey signed by or a picture signed by Dak Prescott?" I looked at her
Like, what's wrong with you?
and see, I'm not gonna say, I can't say what I was thinking. You can say it,
I
or
ain't got
Hollis
nothing
can
to
say
listen.
it for me. But what the? I try to explain. I'm like, listen,
What you doing?
You sleep with the real deal every night. What is wrong with you? Dak Prescott is trying to do what I've already done. Why would you? Don't you bring no autograph of no Dak Prescott Cowboy up in my house?
I ain't got nothing.
What's wrong with you?
I ain't got nothing to do with all that, though.
So anyway, talk a little bit about the Eagles. What are you thinking about the new changes? We know what a mess they made, particularly 2/3 of the way through the season when they changed defensive coordinators, and that was a part of why the defense went kaput. Because those cats they just were confused.
They're doing their
They
own
changed
thing.
guys running into one another. They changed the whole defense.
Yeah.
You know, Patricia was doing some stuff that they had never done before, that they never saw in training camp.
Yeah.
So what about this Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore? Based on your opinion, I know you've been talking about it for a while with WIP and all that. So I know you have some good insight for us.
I like Coach Fangio's hire. I like Kellen Moore's hire too, but I don't know what that offense is going to look like, because you have to think about it like this. Coach Sirianni has been put in a situation where, whether he likes it or not, he has been reduced to like a fanboy. Like let's just keep it 100.
Well, he hasn't been put in that situation. He put himself in that
But
situation.
you know what I mean,
Yeah, he
Rev.
put himself in that situation.
Because when you sit there and you tell people, and you're asked the question like, "What do you do?"
You don't know. You can't answer.
And you say you set the culture, and the culture goes the way.
Let me ask you a question, because I hear that word thrown around quite a bit, particularly when you talk about Sirianni and the Eagles. When they talk about, I never heard the word culture in 17 years in the NFL being thrown around. We gotta,
much as it is.
we gotta develop or create this kind of culture. No. The
You know what we used to call it,
coaches,
Rev?
you get your butt out on the field and win the game.
You know what we used to call it,
That's
Rev?
the culture.
You know what we used to call it? Mentality.
Yeah.
That's what. But see, that's the buzzword now, culture. Because like say for
That
instance.
makes sense to me. It sounds soft to me.
But see,
it sounds soft.
because it was called mentality.
Yeah, it sounds soft.
But it was mentality when we played. It was mentality, because you would have a
culture
coach,
being nice. You're being nice.
Yeah, you're being nice. But what it is okay. Say for instance, coach comes in and say, "Hey, we're going to be a running team. Hey, we're going to be an aggressive defense." That to me, that's the culture, and that's your mindset from the coach.
That's
all the way
not
down
culture,
to the
that's
players.
football.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But that's the buzzword nowadays. The buzzword is culture, because that's what, like, when I think of culture, I think of identity, mentality, and things of that nature. Like, you're going to reflect what your coach is.
When I think of culture, I think of, la-di-da, Shangri-La, and we all happy in one big family.
No, you're thinking cultured, not cultured.
Okay, he's trying to create a culture, so he's got to get them cultured.
Well, since you put it like that, that makes a lot of sense. But when I hear culture, when it pertains to football, I'm thinking more mentality. That's how I think it.
Culture has no business in football.
Yeah,
it has
I hear
no
you.
business.
No, I definitely hear you, but it's more mentality, because, like, when I think of the Baltimore Ravens mentality, or culture, if you will.
I'm going to kick your behind is their mentality.
Bottom line.
I'm going to whoop
Bottom
your tail.
line. When you think about the 49ers,
I'm going to whoop your tail.
Yeah.
Their culture, they came in here
and
to our
handled their
own
business.
game, started off in the warm-ups before the game, walked through our stuff and bullied us around, pushed us around, then whooped our behind on the field,
That's culture.
set us on a downward spiral that the Eagles never recovered
Culture.
from.
That's culture. Same thing. We're talking about the same thing. It's just we're playing
I don't get
semantics
it.
now.
I don't get it.
It's the wordplay.
I don't get it.
It's the wordplay now. It's the wordplay, but we're talking about the same thing, because we come from an era where your team had an identity. That's the word we used to use.
Right,
Identity.
right.
Oh, they're a running team. Oh, they came to play. Like, that defense is physical. Identity. It's called culture now. It's the same thing though.
You didn't answer the question. I'm sorry.
What was the question?
Fangio and this is the
No, I like
talk about the two coordinators, new coordinators.
I think the problem with the offense is, or potentially, is Coach Sirianni is going to have to validate his existence to a certain extent. I believe that that's going to be the case.
Yep.
Because when you come in and say, if Kellen Moore, say if the offense looks great right out the box and they're scoring a lot of points or whatever, a lot of people are going to attribute that to the offensive coordinator because it wasn't like that last year.
Right.
So I think that Coach Sirianni is going to be in a situation where there's going to be press conferences where it might be a little weird, where it's going to be maybe a question that wasn't asked, but you're going to insert the fact that it was your offensive play that maybe scored, like some weird stuff. I just have a feeling it might be that way because he has made it clear that he's going to marry some of his concepts to what Coach Moore wants to do.
Okay.
So I think there's probably going to be a little bit of a power struggle there. Coach Fangio, when I look at that situation, he's come in to just get this defense, fix this defense. However you need to do. Like I feel like he has an open checkbook to just go out there and fix that defense and make it as good as it possibly can be. Because like Rev, like I just told you, like I played in a scheme where I played with Hollis. Hollis used to tell me what to do half the time I was out there because I would be off in the outer space being a space cadet, and I'd be like, yo, dog, what are we supposed to do? And he would tell me. For me to sit there,
this is a professional, all-pro player we're talking about, right here. Who's talking?
No, I think I'm a dog, but there's been times when I used to be out there and be like, wait a minute, what we doing? And he'd be like, oh yeah, we're doing this. Hey, thank you. But the point that I'm making is this. This defense was atrocious.
Bad.
This defense was,
I can beat Bradbury right now.
I have never.
Knot him up in front of me right now.
I have never seen a defense play this atrocious in my life.
I just realized.
So he's going to come in, and I think when I think of culture, mentality, identity,
right,
this defense has to play physical because that's the kind of the model that he's come from. Like the corners have to play physical. Like the corners have to be available and run support.
Right.
Our corners didn't do that at all.
No.
So I'm thinking, when I'm thinking about this team, and I'm not even talking about the financial ramifications, because I'm not, math is hard and I don't do all that math shit. But you're going to have to at least start this defense with 6 or 7 new players.
Big time.
So 6 or 7.
So you're saying that, and that's exactly where I was going next, and we're going to get the question from the person who put it on comments here in a minute. It doesn't matter that they have Vic Fangio here if they don't make some changes personnel-wise on the defense. So what, in your opinion, are the Eagles' priority in terms of players for next year during this offseason? What do they need to do player-wise, personnel-wise, to shore this team up? In my opinion, it's defense. But what's your opinion?
You got to get. How many is that? What's that? What? Let me do my math quick in my head. We got 3 linebackers, 2 corners, and 2 safeties. You need, what's that? 5, 6, 7 people.
You need to get all new ones, all new linebackers,
Who? Rev, like seriously.
I agree. No, I agree.
Rev,
I just never said it before.
Who's starting? Who, like outside of that defensive line? Who else starting? Like for you?
Nobody.
Like say for you.
Nobody. Not even Slay.
And think about Slay, and I know
he talked too much for me.
Rev, he talked too much.
He talked way too much.
He talked too much for me, but it's not only that, Rev. It's like what I feel like this defense is going to be asked to do. I don't think he's going to do it. Like you're going to be asked to come up and run support and turn everything back.
He's not doing that.
Do you know the one thing that I noticed watching the playoffs this year from almost every team that played? The corner play and the run support play and how they funneled everything back to the middle of the field.
That's their job.
To allow everybody else to pursue.
Right.
We don't do that.
Right.
We will sit back and
try to push him out of bounds.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Let him get outside of me and try to push him out of bounds.
These guys, like every corner that I watch play, from the Detroit Lions corners to the San Francisco 49ers corner, Kansas City, everybody played run. They were in the run game. There was not a whole lot of yards after the catch. It was like straight up tackling, you know. And then when they tackled, everybody flowed to the football. That's fundamental. That's football 1-on-1. We didn't do any of that. You would have guys like they didn't want to tackle anybody. They just try to stay in front of them and hope for the best. Wasn't nobody trying to tackle anybody.
That's not football. We're going to go to another commercial, all right, and then we're going to come back. We're going to answer a couple of questions, and we're going to sew this thing up.
Are you planning a special trip? Or a night out? Don't bother with the hassle of driving, parking, and traffic. Just call Ed's Smooth Transport. One-way or round trips available. We will take you there. And we will also pick you up. Enjoy a night on the town with Ed's Smooth Transport. Call us 609-471-2653 or 609-314-6619. Visit our website to take advantage of our monthly specials at www.smooftransport.com. Ed's Smooth Transport, where experience meets comfort.
Because this is Summer Greatness, and this is what we do.
Black folks getting up in Nebraska.
I got lost. So one of the questions, we're back, everybody.
How did you end up in Nebraska?
Okay, Hugh asked me, it's a long story.
But we got time.
Okay.
How your black ass end up in Nebraska?
How did I went to school at the University of Nebraska. That's where I played college football. And Hugh asked me, how did I end up at Nebraska? Well, first of all, I didn't want to go to college. I was tired of going to school. I had a couple of uncles that were Marines, so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a Marine. I wanted to fly jets off of aircraft carriers. That's what I wanted to do. But I was getting all these scholarship offers, along with Mike Rozier, who was a good friend of the family. Our parents grew up together and whatnot. So he's getting the same offers I was. So I told the school, my mom said, you got to go to school. So I told the schools that coming to recruit me, I'm going wherever Mike goes. So wherever Mike decides to go, you don't have to recruit me. That's where I'm going. All right? Mike had to go to a junior college before he went to the university. So he had to narrow down between Pittsburgh and Nebraska. Nebraska had a better JUCO program than Pittsburgh. So he went to Coffeyville, Kansas.
Coffeyville.
I went to Nebraska my freshman year. Mike came and joined me his sophomore year.
Okay.
Now, as we played, obviously we did well. Come my senior year, they're talking about getting drafted. I didn't want to play professional football. That was not
Are
a
you
dream.
serious?
Yeah, I ain't caring nothing about no football, man.
And he was no one overall.
The no one pick.
And so when I came home at the end of our senior year, we had lost our house. We were living in my grandmother's house with her. We didn't have a place to live. I didn't know that, but I found out when I got home. My mama told me, she said, listen, you need to go into the NFL because we need a house. So I went to the NFL. Cincinnati Bengals had the first pick that year. They were going to pick me. And I told the Bengals, I'm not coming. I'm not playing football.
Must be nice.
So they traded it away, and New England got the first pick. And by then, in there somewhere, my mama convinced me to play football.
That is
so
crazy,
I told him
Rev.
I'd go play, and I wouldn't play football.
Rev telling folks he didn't want to play. I ain't playing with y'all.
So I ended up in Nebraska because Mike chose Nebraska.
Gotcha.
And that's why I went to Nebraska.
Okay,
But
okay.
I didn't want to have nothing to do with college. I didn't want to have nothing to do with football. Oh, let me tell you a story.
What did you do in the combine?
I didn't do anything in the combine.
He was
I don't believe that.
drinking soda.
At the combine, so our junior year, between junior year and senior year, the pros came out. We were doing winter conditioning, and they timed us in the 40. I ran a 4.2 twice. So come combine time for the combine.
You like how Rev trying to downplay this though, right?
They had two combines back then, one in New Orleans and one in Indianapolis. So they told me to come to the one in New Orleans. I went to the one in New Orleans. They did my physical. They said, you go sit in the stands. You don't have to do nothing. So I sat in the stands and watched everybody else.
Drinking soda.
No, see, Rare forget though, because I remember he was in Miami. Because that was my first year. He was in Miami in '98, right?
I was killing it in Miami.
Man, listen, I'm on the field. This is my rookie year, right? They run it. Dan Marino just throwing to a spot. He ain't even looking. He just dropped back and they catching the ball. They beat us like it was like 38-3. My first game in the NFL beat the brakes off of us, man. Man, and he over here trying to downplay it, running a 4-2.
So what was your? It's combine time now.
But no,
what was your combine experience like?
I was just happy to be there. Like seriously, coming from Central State,
right? Like
I was down the street from Indianapolis, so it was like when I went there. I remember my roommate was Jamal Duff. He played. You remember Jamal Duff? Y'all probably remember he played in the Cobra Kai movie. He was the black dude in the Cobra Kai movie.
Here in the background.
Yeah,
that was Michelle.
And I remember being at the combine, and I remember Kevin Carter. It was Kevin Carter, Derek Alexander, Luther. It was a bunch of guys, and I remember being in the line with the defensive ends. And you talking about dudes from Florida,
right?
You know, Florida State, like big time schools, 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like at 6'1", 6'1", 265, and they're looking at me like, yo, little fella, you know, like, cause they, like, that's where the district, like, that's where the
plus you're from a small school too.
From a small. Yeah. So they're like, yo, little fella, you in the right line or whatever? You with the wrong group? Whoa. So I remember we were getting ready to work out because they, you know how it is. They do get ready. They have a room, and they had a bench in the room, and they say, okay, the first Kevin Carter from Florida come up and do the bench. Kevin said, nah. I'm gonna go ahead and do my workout at Florida on my pro day, yada, yada, yada. Then they say, Derek Alexander, Florida State. He's like, nah, I'm not working out. So they say, Hugh Douglas, Central State University. I was like, well, shit, I gotta go. Like, you never want to be first because you want to see your competition, you want to see what you measured up against. So I get out there, and I think I do like 225, like 27 times.
25.
Like 27 times. This is my story. This is my story. Okay. Give me my 2 reps. Give me my 2 reps. But no, it was like, okay, about 25 times. But I remember people were like, oh, wow. They were like, oh, okay. They were like, okay, we did it 25 times. And I just remember that. And I just remember at that point, just being at the combine and everybody and their mama, like I didn't have the luxury of saying, nah, because I remember guys used to be in there talking about, hey, so-and-so wants to talk to you. No, when y'all pick, oh, no, I'm not going to be there when y'all pick. I ain't got no reason to talk to y'all. Like, Cash was doing that. I ain't going to talk to y'all.
That sound like Deion Sanders.
No, it was a couple cats. They was like, oh, no, I'm not going to be there when you pick, so I don't even need to talk to y'all.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Cash was doing that, so I'm like, wow. Man, I remember talking to everybody that wanted to talk. I was a prostitute. I wanted anybody that wanted me. I wanted anybody that wanted me. And I remember just going home and not knowing what the future held, bringing back a bunch of T-shirts, like a bunch of shorts, T-shirts, and just giving them to everybody in the dorm that wanted like their favorite teams or whatever. And that's what I remember. Wow. So for me, it was just surreal, just doing the workouts and everything, doing the drills, and just talking to everybody. Right. So that was a surreal thing for me.
So we were asked by someone who's watching us online right now, who was your favorite equipment manager?
I would probably have to say Dundee. Was Angelo Dundee?
Angelo Dundee.
Yeah, because he used to
give us stuff.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, he was a big Ted Nugent fan too, if I'm not mistaken. He's a huge Ted Nugent fan, if I'm not mistaken.
We had an equipment manager when I was in New England by the name of George Luongo. And I remember I didn't want to wear, I think the team gave us, it was either Adidas or Nike, something like that. But I didn't want to wear Adidas or Nike, so I wanted to wear Pumas. And
he's a little bit of a diva, huh? Really?
I had to buy my own shoes.
You don't know how much
I had to buy.
he is.
No, I remember.
Don't hate.
I'm not hating.
Don't hate. Celebrate. Participate. Appreciate. That's what you need to do.
He tried to talk.
Shut up, Hollis. So listen. We're gonna close in. Tell them later. The Eagles have a first round choice.
First round. Ooh.
They had 22nd pick in the first round. They got
I know what you asked me.
2 picks in the second round, 50th and the 53rd. Then they got a third round pick, and they got 4 picks in the 5th round.
Okay.
who you going with in the first 2 rounds? I'll make it easy for you because I know you've been asked this before.
Well, you know
who
what,
do you think they should go with? And then there's the possibility of JT Jr.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Jeremiah Trotter. What do you think about that? Let me ask you that because Jeremiah is our next guest when we're here at the Code. I believe it's April 5th is the day. Jeremiah's going to be our guest.
You know what? I'm excited for Trot and his son because I remember when they were playing. Like when they, you know how when they're little, they start out playing, the little jitterbugs. Yeah. From what I'm hearing, it's crazy how these things work. He went from a first-round draft pick to like a second-day draft pick. That just shows you how certain positions in the NFL have been devalued.
Right. He's ranked like the 6th best linebacker coming out.
At one point, he was the number 1. It's just weird.
Right.
Yeah, isn't it weird how the combine stuff works?
Yeah.
But it would be awesome to support his son if he came to Philadelphia. That would be awesome. Things don't work out like we want them to.
You think the Philadelphia fans would boo him if things don't go well?
Yes. Yes. As they should.
I just want to throw that out there.
No,
they would.
as they should. As they should.
They'll boo him extra.
But I think
they'll boo him extra.
But I think it's a rite of passage, and I think try to have him right. Try to get him right.
Yeah.
It would be fun to be able to watch one of my teammates, one of my favorite teammates' son, to go out there and play extremely well. Yeah. But to see him play, that would be, because it's like this, man. Like all of my teammates, and they're like family. So it's like when you see them achieve, it's like we all, you know what I mean? You know how it is. We all go up. So it'd be great to see him play here. I don't think it's going to happen like that, though. Because it never really plays out the way that you wanted to play out. But wherever he is, we're going to support him and we're going to love him up. And,
as long as he doesn't go to Dallas.
Yeah. Like if he goes to Dallas, that'd be a little...
he can't go to Dallas.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's going to be a problem.
How crazy would that be?
That'd be a problem.
That would be.
It'd be crazy.
But his dad is from
problem.
Texas, though.
Yeah, but he's not a Dallas fan.
Yeah,
he can't go to Dallas.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
So listen, we're gonna wrap this up. Tell the people where they can find you. You on Twitter? You on IG? Tell them where they can find you so they can follow you.
I don't know what's my
Big
Twitter?
fella?
I'll tell him.
The big fella.
He's
Big fella.
on Twitter. On Twitter.
I don't pay attention, man.
Listen, you created the account.
I did create it. It's the big fella, right? It's the big fella.
No,
it's
the_, this is IG, Instagram.
The big fella.
_big_fella.
Yeah.
You can't just do the big fella.
Yeah.
It's the_big_fella.
Yeah.
That's IG. Shut up, Hollis.
Okay.
And then Twitter, he's on Twitter.
My email.
That's my dude. On Twitter, it's at BigHugh53.
Yes.
At BigHugh53. That's where you can follow him.
As you get out here, ask him why he doesn't open any of my emails in public.
Okay, why don't you?
You already know.
No. I know why. Hollis Thomas wants to know. It's the question why Hugh doesn't open any of Hollis's emails in public. All you got to do is go to Hollis's IG and you'll find out. And you'll find out.
That's the real take 78.
Yeah, the real take 78. Listen, thanks, bro. I appreciate you, man. This was real. This was good.
Had a ball.
We're gonna have you back some point later on.
Yeah.
Because this is cool. We ain't finished yet. Have you back during the season.
Okay.
So we come back and talk some football
Cool. I'll probably
while it's actually happening.
Put some more clothes on. Give me a chance.
No, you don't need to put no clothes. Well, come with clothes on.
Yeah, with clothes on.
Put some clothes on.
I ain't gonna put no pajamas
on. Don't come naked. Put some clothes on. All right. Thanks, everybody. Listen, everybody who's watching right now, give yourselves a hand, clap, applause, appreciation. Thank you so much. Lord have mercy. It's live.
It's live?
Yeah, no, we're still live. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Listen, we are live. We are live. We are live right now. Boy, my guys or something else. We are live right now at the Fryar Place on YouTube. I'm going to ask all of you to go to YouTube. Search the Fryar Place. That's Fryar. It's ER's a chicken, not ER. It's AR. Search the Fryar Place and subscribe. All right, we're live here every first Friday of the month here at the Cigar Code, 939 North Delaware Avenue. The Fryar Place is where the conversations are fire. That's my dude, Hugh Douglas. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you actually next week on the Fryar Place from studio, but we'll see you next month. Our next guest here at the Code, April 5th, is none other than Jeremiah Trotter, the Hammer. Your calendars. We'll see you next.